Hey guys, this is Web Naruto went back in time with Sasuke part 7 now, I think. Before this video starts, I'm gonna have a poll up on my community tab, so yeah, just click on my channel, go to the community tab. It's gonna be a vote on what the next series is gonna be, because this part is gonna be the last part to What If Naruto went back in time with Sasuke. So this is the last part of the series, uh and that vote will determine what the next series is going to be about, which should be uploaded Wednesday or Friday, depending on when I will upload or when I have time. And so yeah, let's get to the what if. So basically what happened last time, or where I ended off last time, is Kakashi, or no, Obito. Naruto was able to get Obito onto his side, and he set Obito up to meet with Kakashi, which was pretty, not, yeah, heartfelt, because they both haven't seen each other. They both got to explain what happened, why everything happened, and they eventually got through all of it and decided to be friends again. And so, another thing that I forgot to mention, or that was pointed out in the comments that I completely forgot about, was how Obito has that one, what is it called? That one thing wrapped around his heart, that Madara put in just so he doesn't, uh, basically go to the other side and go back to Kakashi or something like that. And the way, I'm gonna make it so Obito was actually able to go, Naruto would have basically broken it, because when he first met Obito again, he would notice that there's every single time Obito refused to go with him, because they fought for a bit before Naruto was able to have Obito come with him, but every single time he was fighting and he kept on saying that he didn't want to go with them, he knows that it was a lie, because Naruto can sense and determine when people are lying now, and he was able to see that Obito was lying and he didn't want to come, and so he kind of body scanned him in a way and was able to like see that there's a big clunk of chakra around his heart, and activate his Rinnegan that he got from Nagato earlier, and was able to break it with it, setting Obito free. And from there it went to Kakashi, Kakashi and Obito meeting again, and that's how that went. And yeah, that's how that went. But that all happened relatively in like the same day. I think I made it so it was like a few days after, but in this time it's gonna be like a few, like within like an hour of all that happening. And then every village. Okay, how do I explain this? So the Akatsuki was basically also going after the Jinchuriki at the exact same time, like going for everyone, because they noticed that Naruto also trained them. They got more powerful, but the Akatsuki also got a boost from Obito, and was basically really OP at that point. Not OP enough to take on Naruto, but even though Naruto trained the Jinchuriki, the Jinchuriki were like really easy to beat for the Akatsuki, basically, because of that boost. And so Naruto would send out clones going to every single village and staying back at his own village just to make sure that no Akatsuki members are going to terrorize the villagers or anything like that. And luckily all the clones get there in time and were able to defeat all the Akatsuki members that were attacking, and was basically able to earn the trust of every single village that you basically saved, because the Akatsuki members were terrorizing the village as well, not just the Jinchurikis. Man, I need to breathe. But yeah, so once he does all that, they Naruto decides that he needs to tell the rest of the Kages the truth about him, and because they have a few years, or they have like a good 10 years still, but he wants to prepare just in case for worst case scenario, and just in case they come a little bit early, because that's still a possibility, because you notice that he has noticed that a lot of things have been changing, uh because he knows his future, but he doesn't know the future that he's in right now, if that makes sense. Like, how do I explain that? He knows what happens, but things are changing, because he's basically changing time in a way, and new things are happening that didn't happen in his original timeline. So he just wants to be prepared just in case they attack earlier than expected, is what I'm trying to say. And so yeah, eventually Naruto holds a Kage summit, or Kage summon, I forgot which one of the two it is, and he ends up revealing the truth that he is basically from the future, and Sasuke's there, and they both kind of explain what happened. Some of them believe him, because, or somewhat believe him, because they heard of jutsus kind of like that are able to change, like time itself and wouldn't really doubt it or doubt it to be true. So Naruto would have basically, or no, a few of the Kages would basically not also not believe Naruto, and it would take Naruto showing his memories to all of them for all of them to be 100% sure that Naruto's telling the truth and this isn't just some sort of kind of like scam. And he eventually gets them on his side, and they kind of start preparing. At this point, Orochimaru already made his version of a different boost that um that boosts a person's chakra and kind of and his strength and their strength, and it has no drawbacks because Naruto has also been helping him out and he knows a lot of things because also the Sage Six Paths is technically helping Naruto out at the same time. So yeah, because remember, the Sage is also still inside Naruto because he didn't want to be lost in the timeline, so he decided to go with Naruto along with all the other Jinchurikis, or not Jinchurikis, sorry, but along with all the other tailed beasts. And so Naruto would have then, what is it called? But basically start setting up everything just in case, worst case scenario again. And as he predicted, it they do come a bit earlier. Cause at this point, it's been rather peaceful because they have made a peace treaty at this point. Because again, Naruto showed them the future and also showed them the war about them being peaceful. And knows that if they're able to do in that timeline, it's best for them to do it again now. And yeah, so basically it's been peaceful, and they all have kind of a alarm system where if any of them notice anything that looks like an Otsutsuki member, that they would basically sound an alarm. And in this version of the timeline, Momoshiki is basically, because he was searching each and every planet and future for Kaguya, and he's doing that same, except he's a lot more loyal to the king. And yeah, he would basically be going planet to planet, and when he got to Earth, it was only him at the time, and he noticed that there's a lot of strong chakra. And as soon as he landed there, he was able to sense some sort of like presence of Kaguya. Not Kaguya herself, but something that's alike her, and that is of course Sasuke and Naruto, because they're the or not that what's called the they're both the reincarnation of the Sage Six Paths Sun, which were technically Otsutsuki members, and that gives them their chakra of an Otsutsuki member. And he and it technically also came down from Kaguya to them, so I'm gonna say it also had a little bit of Kaguya's chakra in a way, because it like, yeah, basically he was able to sense somewhat of Kaguya's chakra, and instead of fighting right away, he decided to report back to the king saying that there's a planet full of this power, this chakra that Kaguya was looking for, and he was also able to sense a little bit of Kaguya's presence in a way. And so the Otsutsuki king decides that it's best for them to start invading and trying to find Princess Kaguya as soon as possible. And at this point, Naruto, this has already been a few years since since the Akatsuki members attacked. It's been quite a few years at this point. Baruto's already born. So is Himawari. I always like mess that up. You guys know I'm not good with names. So yeah, basically those two are already alive, and Naruto would also already be a dad, or to be the Hokage, and they would also be on their tippy toes just in case, because they don't want what happened before to happen again. And they all agree that when the day comes that the Otsutsuki members invade, that they're going to let specifically Naruto and Sasuke fight, and all the other villages will join together and just protect off the common people, or like, just protect off their village and their own people, but to let Naruto and Sasuke fight the main fight in the, like, in the front lines. And so, sorry, let me drink some water real quick. My throat's pretty parched. That's a word, right? Parch? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. But going on from what I said earlier, he would have basically sent home to Otsutsuki members along with Momoshiki, basically, what is it called? Basically leading them all on. He's basically leading all the Otsutsuki members to fight Naruto, or all of them. And also that one organization, I don't know what it was called, but you guys should know what I'm talking about. In Boruto, the guy that people are suspecting be Joy. I'm not sure if they're still doing all that, but that one I always forget what it's called. But I'm gonna say that isn't a thing because Naruto was able to stop it before any of that ever really happened. I know that was pretty important to the story somewhat, but it's mainly just the Otsutsukis are now attacking, and they're spread all around Earth, and villages are alarming, you know, are alarming the system, and Naruto's already getting ready to fight. He sends off a few clones all around to every village just to make sure that they're protected. But they notice, as even though a whole bunch of them are all spread out across like all over Earth, but instead of finding the village, they all start going to Naruto and Sasuke because they can sense the amount of the amount of power that's coming from there, and they go there because they think that might be Kaguya, which is their main target to find and to get back. And so kind of start flying to there, and Naruto and Sasuke not flying, just yeah, I think they fly. I'm pretty sure, yeah, they can fly. Pretty sure. If not, then they just get there eventually. And so Naruto and Sasuke are basically surrounded by a whole bunch of Otsutsuki members, and they both have the objective to fight them, but to make sure that nobody dies, because they want to have peace with the Otsutsuki members, but in order for that, they want to assert their dominance first. So they want to at least fight them and get the king out into the front lines for them to fight and make a peace treaty with. And yeah, so basically, Naruto and Sasuke start going full, like start powering on, and this is what I'm giving them. When it comes to Naruto, he activates KCM9, which I explained in the last part, is basically every single tailed beast. Imagine if each tailed beast had their own tailed beast mode, or like basically their own KCM mode, but it's basically every single one. Okay, let me rephrase that. Every single tailed beast has their own version of a KCM form, but it's every single one of them going from the 1 through 9 tails, and it's like layers of different chakra, and that all combines. All goes into Naruto in a way, and lets him harness the tailed beast chakra, giving him almost unlimited chakra at that point, and just giving him a lot of power. And he also has the Renegon that I explained that he got from Nagato last episode, or last part. And Sasuke has his. He was basically able to get. Imagine a Susanoo, like his normal Indra. I forgot what it was. His Indra Susanoo. Basically that, but in a miniature version at the point where it's his own armor. It's basically, yeah, it's basically surrounding him like a chakra cloak. And this armor is basically unbreakable. It's made of pure chakra, and anything that touches it basically gets disintegrated, or like it just weakened, and it just basically nobody can break it. Nobody can really harm Sasuke. And he also has his 2 Renegon, and he can still activate the Mangekyo whenever he wants to. And so yeah, and then oh yeah, so as I explained, uh, sorry, I forgot if I also said that Naruto also has his own version of Sage 6 Paths mode, which is basically, again, KCM9 with Sage 6 Path and the Renegon, which is really OP. Sasuke kind of has his own version of Sage 6 Path, not like Naruto, but he still has that. He also has the Susanoo, which is pretty, his version of the armor, where it's like all around himself, it's not huge, not like how it was in canon, where it's like like pretty huge, and it's just surrounding him. It's like his own piece of armor, as if he's actually wearing it. That's how I'm trying to explain it as. And so yeah, they're basically, it's Naruto and Sasuke versus the whole entire Otsutsuki clan is basically, imagine a massacre but without any killing, if that makes sense. Like, it's basically the equivalent to a monster, like a giant or a titan stomping on a ladybug. That's the equivalent. And but they're not killing it, they're just weakening all of them, is the, yeah. So basically he tries not to kill any of them and knocks them basically all out, and at one point it's um a whole bunch of Otsutsuki members are just basically down on the ground, passed out, and uh Momoshiki decides to go into the fully front line, powers up all the way, and decides that it's his turn to fight. And a whole bunch of the other Otsutsuki members have retreated to go get the king to try to see if he can help them out. And so It's Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki this time, but Naruto turns around and tells Sasuke or basically Naruto turns around and tells Sasuke, you fight the other Otsutsuki members. Please, let me handle Momoshiki. And Sasuke, I understand. I would like to get a punch in him too, but I'd rather you go for him. I'll hold up the Otsutsuki members from getting to the village. And Naruto was like, thank you, Sasuke. And after this, he would start, or Naruto would start running to Momoshiki. And he's not even trying at this point. And they're on equal ground at this point, but again, Naruto's not trying. And Momoshiki is saying, you have no chance against me. I fought the king of the Otsutsuki and lasted a few days against him. And this is basically pretty impressive. It's like, how do I explain? Although it doesn't seem impressive because he still lost, but he was able to fight with him for like a few days. That's still impressive because it's the king of the Otsutsukis, and someone who's able to actually fight and have a chance against him, even if they end up losing, is still pretty powerful. And yeah, Momoshiki is basically just uh being really cocky and saying that he's never going to be able to beat them, or that Naruto's really weak, that he even right now Momoshiki's beating him, but Naruto kind of starts to look down. He backs up a bit, starts looking down, and starts laughing, saying, "Only 3 days," and or no, he would say something like, "It took you 3 days, and even then you still lost. How pathetic! You really are weak and cocky at that. Guess you're all what was it? All bark and no bite, all talk no bite. You know what I'm talking about, the old saying." And so Naruto would then say, I've me and my friend over there have fought the Otsutsuki King, and we have beaten him already, or we have beaten him before with only minor injuries." And Momoshiki would look at Naruto like, impossible. There's no way someone like you is even able to somewhat beat him, or somewhat even stand a chance against him. But Naruto would then look down like, huh, you haven't even noticed? I've barely even been trying. You really are weak. You can't even sense how much power I'm using. And at that, Naruto at this point would be looking down with a smile. And at this point, he'd start slowly looking up, saying, you're so weak, so pathetic. You're the reason my whole entire family is dead. You're the whole entire reason I went through all this. All my bloodlust comes from you. And would start looking up slowly, and his eyes would be closed. And as soon as he opens them, his right eye, which is the one that he has his Rinnegan in, would, instead of being a purple color, would start just glowing like a bloodlust red. And I'm making this up, of course, because that's not gonna happen. It's not the Rinnegan, it's like the actual Rinnegan, but it's just powered by a bunch of Naruto's bloodlust at the point where it turns red, and it looks scarily like bloody crimson red. And this even sends Momoshiki like shivers. And again, Momoshiki at this point is going full power, and Naruto was barely even trying and was holding up against him. And he starts going, and Naruto's like, this is still isn't all my power, and starts powering up even more and more, and all his bloodlust starts going into him, and starts developing into power. A whole bunch of the tailed beast chakras going into him, and Naruto would say, like, all this chakra is going, or all this all this is going to be so painful, and it's going to hurt you. This is the amount, all the pain that you're going to feel is all the amount, or is nowhere near the pain that I felt because of you. And then he would look, or he looks directly into his eyes, and he would say, you do not deserve to live. And he would use Almighty Pull, and as soon as he pulled him in, Naruto would start all that chakra that he basically pulled out in Bloodless would start forming into a kind of Rasengan, and this would be the most powerful Rasengan Naruto was ever able to pull, because it's a whole bunch of tailed beast chakra, all chakra infinities, sage, like it's just a whole bunch of different power moves and chakra that he has, all formed into a Rasengan. and and he basically just fully just boom, just slams it into him. As soon as it touches Momoshiki, it just causes pain in him. It just all it's their Rasengan is basically full of bloodlust, and all that bloodlust is and pain, and it's just going right into Momoshiki, and along with it going right through him, all that pain goes all throughout his body to eventually it kills him just straight away, and it was extremely painful for him, and this would just it's the equivalent to imagine a razor scooter hitting your shin, but that happens all day, every day, for 1,000 years, and every single day your knee it never gets used to it. You just feel the pain over and over again. Imagine that exact pain times 1,000 for 1,000 days, all put into a Rasengan and going all throughout your body. That's somewhat the equivalent. Like that's the best example I can probably give. It hurt a lot more than that, to say the least. And so this would basically kill Momoshiki almost right away. And at this point, this gave enough time for the Otsutsuki king to eventually arrive on Earth and witness Momoshiki dying. And so, even after using all that chakra, Naruto would still be up. He would still be alive. The thing that's driving it, he used a lot of energy on that just because how much hatred he had for him. But even then, there's just something driving Naruto to wanna just not pass out basically, and to make sure that he defends the village, to make sure Hinata doesn't get hurt, to make sure Baruto doesn't get hurt, to make sure Himawari, I always forget what letter it starts with, to make sure all of them don't get hurt, make sure Sasuke, Sakura, Sarada, no one in the village gets hurt. And so yeah, Naruto would then look at the king and basically just stand straight up and start walking over to him. And as soon as he does, the king gets onto his defensive side and starts to try to fight Naruto. Naruto is basically just it's like a kid, like a little brother trying to beat up his older brother. That's how it looks like, kind of. And Naruto's taking his punches and everything, and it's still not affecting him. And like, yeah, and he's basically also trying to talk to the king and saying that he's not gonna win, and that this seems all too familiar. This has happened before, and say I beat you once, I can do it again, probably, or I can more likely do it again. And all throughout this, the king saying, "I'm impressed. You're able to take down almost the whole entire Otsutsuki clan, and your friend over there, he's also very strong. He's even by himself, he's able to take on a whole bunch of Otsutsuki members. I commend you for this. What is your name?" And Naruto go, "I'm Naruto Uzumaki." And he would continue fighting, and Naruto said, "Well, I've killed them before. Knocking them out is a lot more easier, I'll tell you that." And the Sasuke King was like, "What are you talking about?" And they would basically continue this conversation to eventually the Otsutsuki King uh, is beaten. And of course, he isn't killed, but he is put to the ground and basically weakened. While Naruto is only has like a few scratches and it's just a little bit out of chakra, and that's mainly it. But uh the king would just be on the ground, kind of panting, just out of breath, and say, "I'm impressed. You were able to beat me all by yourself, and it didn't even take that long. You are indeed very strong, Naruto Uzumaki. I commend you for this. Do as you must. You can kill me if you like." And Naruto would put his hand out to the ground because again the king is basically on the ground, and Naruto reaches for his hand and says, "Come on, get up." And the king would kind of be confused, saying, You're choosing mercy on me?" And Naruto would say, "Yes, well, that was the whole entire point of this. I wanted to create peace with the Otsutsuki clan. That's why I didn't kill any of you, or that's why I didn't kill any of you the second time around. Only Momoshiki, because he does not deserve to live." And the king would be kind of still confused, like, what are you talking about? You're talking as if we've met before, as if this all has happened before. Who are you? Who are you really? And Naruto would say, "Here, this should explain some things." And Naruto would put his head up to the king's, or put his hand up to the king's forehead, and basically send some memories of what happened into Naruto, or into the king. And the Otsutsuki, hold on, let me drink some more water. Sorry, my throat's still really dry. And the king would then open his eyes and say, "Ah, I see. So we do know each other, rather in a different timeline we do." And Naruto was like, "Yes, when in that timeline, when you gave me this, I can sense that there's no bloodlust in you. All you wanted was true peace after I beat you, and after you gave me this, I forgot what, basically what he gave Naruto and Sasuke was a time ring, and that was basically able to send them back in time and create a new timeline or reality." And Naruto was saying how he didn't sense any bloodlust in the king when he gave him the ring. And he can sense that the king wanted true peace among them and would rather not fight, and actually like feels bad for Naruto and sees how even through all this that he still regretted, or Naruto still regretted killing the Otsutsuki clan members and wished that there was a more peaceful resolution that they could have had. And that was back in the original timeline in like the first part that I explained. So yeah, um, Naruto say, "Well, I still want there to be peace among us. I would like for the Otsutsuki members to live here in harmony with us as kind of a peace treating." And hold up. And so um the Otsutsuki king would kind of start to think about it and go, that would sound nice. A peace treaty among us, among two powerful races. If people are as powerful as you, and then there's us, we can basically be unstoppable versus anything that even comes near us. And we can, and Naruto's kind of butt in and say, and we can help each other out on anything that we need. You guys, if you guys want, you guys can still live on your guys' planet. But if any of your Otsutsuki members want, they're also allowed to live here in harmony with us, as long as there's no war, no fights at all. And the king would think about it and go, I would, I would, actually, he would say something like, I agree, I agree. That would be really nice to have, or for us to. Okay, I'm trying to think of something. I'm just like stuttering to think. But to put it in layman's term, he would basically agree and about there being a peace treaty between them and them being able to live there along with humans. But then he would say, but on one condition. And I would say, yes, what is it? And so the king would explain that he wants his daughter Kaguya, the prince of the Otsutsuki, or the princess of the Otsutsuki members, to be released. And Naruto would say, yes, she's still alive, but she is just sealed away because many years ago she tried fighting, or she tried killing and stealing all the power, or all the power for herself, into her two uh her two sons were able to fight her and defeat her eventually. And so the king would say, I see, but can you still please make this happen? I haven't seen her in a long time, and I'll keep her under control and make sure she isn't power thirsty at all. And Naruto say, okay, well, I think we have come to an agreement. And so with that, the king and Naruto and the Otsutsuki members, after a while, they eventually got to a point where they're all comfortable living with each other. And some of the Otsutsuki members still remain on their own planet. Some decided to stay on Earth, has gotten involved with Earth a lot more, and actually has started relationships with humans and stuff like that. At the point where now they're living in harmony after only a few years. And Kaguya was, of course, unsealed, and because of her father, was, basically not restrained, but just was made sure that she didn't get in any sort of trouble or like anything that would get her killed. Because um at this point, if she does anything even somewhat risky, Naruto and Sasuke kill her instantly. And they agreed on this. Naruto would told the king that if she does go rogue, or if she does anything to even somewhat harm humans as a race, I will kill her. And The king was like, yes, you have my permission. I hope this will not happen, but I'll try my best to keep her under control and explain to her our situation and everything that's happening. Is this a deal? And Naruto say yes, and yeah, with that, they would again live in harmony. And that's the end of this what if. As I explained earlier, I'll have a poll up or a voting system on my community tab on what the next series should be, because this is the end of uh what if Naruto went back in time with Sasuke. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this what if series. If you guys liked it, well then like, subscribe, all that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.